Hello, good evening, my people. How are you doing? It's Mohammed Modibo back on my channel. So, how is everybody doing? I wanted to talk today about keeping on with your schedule. So, meeting your objectives basically. So, it's almost the time of the year where people are always, having resolutions for the new year. People seem to do that a lot every year, and after a month or a little bit, seem to wave off. So, as at my last video, if you watched the last video, I am going on a productivity journey, on a discovery journey, trying to, you know, explore and find clarity and seek meaning, you know, in what I do in my life, trying to get direction and hopefully fulfillment as the target at the end. So I wanted to talk today about designing a plan and following through on the plan. That's what I started myself. I set a timetable. Yeah, so from the name of my channel, you can decipher that I'm, I have a keen interest in coding. So I've been trying to set like a daily schedule or a timetable to follow to enhance my productivity. I usually when I do this, I usually go for a very ambitious time. I set like about 5 hours to code daily so as to enhance my skills, go out there. So, and what I've discovered is because I've done it in the past, so when you get in a vibe, when you get into a rhythm of doing it, it actually becomes almost second nature. It's difficult to start, and in addition, anyway, the time I was able to do it successfully, that was just after my masters. I was still in the UK. I hadn't come back to Nigeria, so there was a lot less distraction. There wasn't any distractions, so I was able to focus. I think that's the key word. No distractions, and I was able to focus. So I put in the hours and I put in the effort, and it really worked. It did work. I got really good. Does my own. I got good. I got good. And some of those skills are still beneficial till today. Like any issue I have, I know I'll always find a way to surmount it. I think it's a special skill. Maybe I need to talk about that someday. It's a special skill, being able to find solutions to your problems. So it takes, you have to know how to search for issues whenever you come across issues when you're coding. I think so. Initially, when I heard that, I didn't even understand what it meant. But over time, I believe I've grown to understand and utilize that fully. So, uh, thankfully, those are some of the benefits I gained. So, but over time, like life generally, something will knock you off your pedestal. So for me, a couple of things. First, the environment that secluded me and gave me that opportunity to focus and concentrate on what I was doing. I rounded up and I had to come back and resume my job. So I had to juggle the two now. Then I was back home, friends, events, programs. You have to catch up with friends, you have family, you have to do a lot of things. So generally, I think that's where I stumbled, and I imagine several other people to have a similar experience. So, and in addition, I couldn't land coding a job, and I think That really hit my confidence. It stung a little bit. I did search. I well, to be fair, I what I did was I fixed up my CV. I put up the projects I built along with the tutorials, and I threw it out there. Like anybody looking, hiring, I just sent it out there. So I didn't take the other approach, which is so I saw some videos and this was recommended, and it makes sense. I think it's a reasonable approach to take, whereby you refine your search instead of just throwing your CV out there. You could target a couple of so what you do is you get a couple of like agencies or organizations that you'd love to work, and you craft something particularly for them. So you put a lot more intention into what you're doing for that particular. So you could also reach out to some of their staff on LinkedIn. I didn't try that anyway, but I did get a few interviews. I, in fact, I did some coding challenges online, and I'm glad to say I was successful in some of them. But there was this impediment about getting a foreign job. So because of the time difference, firstly, then in addition, I think yeah, basically that was about for the remote job. It was about the time difference, and the some of those companies they seek they seek to recruit just for companies within America and Canada. So that was a stumbling block. So I just described what happened and what pushed me off my perch. So when that happened, I really the 5 hours dropped drastically. I'd have to say but thankfully I didn't lose what I had, and I still so there was a we're working on a project together with the team, about 4 or 5 hours. It's a project and it's almost at fruition. So we're working on that. We used to work on that weekends, so that kept me busy. I'd been doing that. So now I'm trying to get back on the saddle. Does do something worthwhile, make it creative, and try and stick to a schedule. So I think what you can do when you're planning things like this is to grow incrementally. That's what I've realized now. So of course you can set a target of maybe in 5, 10 years you want to become something, but the steps to accomplish that you can do that incrementally. Then you set realistic targets. So say for instance, now that I want to get back on the horse, I could say probably 1 hour a day. So it shouldn't be too out there that you either cannot accomplish it consistently in the start, or if you do, you burn out eventually. So you have to find a middle ground. So you start on something, something reasonable that you can do. So after a while, when you get back into the groove of it, then with what life is dealing to you, you can plan better and see how you can progress in that manner. So that's what I think that helps for planning and implementation as well. So you just look at your timetable, and another thing is um, with the progression of life and your plan, you can always tweak it. So it should be something responsive, like it shouldn't be something cast in stone. So like everything else in life, you try, then you adjust. You should be agile in nature, as we say. So it should be responsive to feedback from the society, and it should be something worthwhile. So you tend to get um, the fulfillment from doing that. You don't burn out. You enjoy what you're doing. You enjoy the journey. Like, the most important part is to enjoy the journey. So I want you guys to try that out and let me know if it works for you. And if you have any other opinions, you can drop it in the comments. Thank you very much. Goodbye.